today. My name is Spectrum Dominus, and I will be your breaker this evening as we do What's in the Box Wednesday, episode 11. Tonight we will be doing Stadium Club Football 1992. Lots of cool cards in here. Not much in the way of rookies that we're really hunting. We're more hunting things like Members Club cards, Members Choice cards, the Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Dan Marino, stuff like that. I'm going to have a lot of cards in this set that I want. Stu, the guy, Sugar White as we call him, or what did I call him last week that everyone said was really cool, our patron saint of unopened boxes. Once again, he sent this box to be opened on What's in the Box Wednesday. So he has a list of 19 cards he's hoping to get. We're hoping we get all 19 cards for him. That has not happened yet, but that's okay. If we get less than 19, maybe he'll buy a second box and want to open it again. So we get more stuff to open and enjoy. So we're not going to take long. We're going to get in this right away and break ourselves the Stadium Club Football 1992 series. So open the box. Go. There's nothing on the bottom of these, so we can use it over here. Let's slide these to the side. Let's grab one of them and put it here, and then grab these and get them all organized over here. Okay, stack fell over here. Stack them back up. All right, good. So we got that stack there. That is 1/4 of the box right there. So we got that going. Emperor, thank you for the description and welcome to the Domination. Guys, if you have not noticed yet on Twitch, live on Twitch, we are affiliated now. We do have an affiliation. We now have our first 2 subscribers. So thank you for that. I will be looking into subscriber perks. Got nothing right now, but soon, very soon, subscriber perks. All right, guys, let's get this started. I love the Stadium Club product. I love the old stuff. I love the original stuff. I love the current stuff. When I get Stadium Club baseball, so nice. So let's have fun with this. And one of the things I liked about this old Stadium Club product, you see this? It shows you their top rookie card. So if you ever got a guy, if you had William Roberts, you're like, oh, what's his rookie card? It shows you what card it is. 1990 Topps Traded is his first Topps card. So his 90 Topps Traded or his 91 Topps. Right, I don't know exactly how these packs will lay out. Once I get a feel for them, I may shift them around, but for now, we have Lomas Brown. Oh, the one thing about Stadium Club is they were the early glossy cards, so there's a little bit of a stick factor to them. Hopefully they don't stick to the point where they peel off onto the other card. Most of the time, nowadays, they've gotten fixed that, but let's see. All right, Lomas Brown for the Lions. We got Mark Clayton for the Dolphins. We have a Members Choice, Derek Thomas. That's what I thought. I could feel it when I was putting it down. Then we got for the Browns, Bob Burnett. Okay, so then we get a card in the middle. That's interesting. For the Falcons, we got Bob Whitfield. For the Giants, we have Myron Guyton. For the Rams, we got Flipper Anderson. For the Bears, we have Mark Carrier. For the Patriots, we have John Stevens. Vikings, we have Terry Allen. Lions, we have Kevin Pritchett. For the Lions, we have Beanie Blades. For the Dolphins, we have Keith Sims. And for the Giants, we have William Roberts. And a couple I pulled over to the side. I don't even know if they're ones I collect or not. I just put them there to think about collecting. All right, take care. Well, thanks for stopping into the live stream. Guys, if you are watching on YouTube, you can watch this live on stream when we film it on our Twitch channel, which you can find that information down in the description down below. Alright, we got a card in the middle. We're just going to flip that to there. And we're going to do a little bit of, don't bend too hard, but bend a little so they separate. Alright, and we have Barry Foster of the Steelers, Rodney Peete of the Lions, Brett Williams of the Patriots, Rick Tupton for the Seahawks, wide right, Scott Norwood of the Bills. Let's turn these around. We have Joe Phillips of the Rams, the Chargers, sorry. Rob Bernstein of the, I believe it's the Dolphins. Nope, also the Chargers. Seems like every time it's a Charger, I think it's someone else. Steve Young of the 49ers. Fred Barnett of the Eagles. Cortez Kennedy of the Seahawks. Carl Wilson of the Rams. James Hasty of the Jets. Vaughn Johnson of the Saints. Dolphins Mark Dennis and Richard Brown of the Browns. Richard Brown of the Browns. Wonder why they drafted him. So, we've got, let's do the crack that way. All right, we have Rob Moore of the Jets, Scott Case of the Falcons, Tony Woods of the Seahawks, Hardy Nickerson of the Steelers, his rookie card is a 92 tops. Good to know. Oh, I might make that a rookie card. Jeff Bryant of the Seahawks. Hardy is a former Buck, one of our greats before we started drafting our greats. He was the elder statesman of that Super Bowl. Actually, he wasn't actually on the Super Bowl team, but that Super Bowl winning team that won for a few years before he left, but he is remembered as a Buccaneer. So, Pat Swilling of the Saints, Gerard Bunch of the Giants, Broderick Thomas of the Buccaneers, Leonard Marshall of the Giants, Members' Choice Rodney Hampton of the Giants, Alfred Williams for the Bengals, Tyron Braxton for the Broncos, Lorenzo Lynch for the Cardinals, Tony Bennett for the Packers, and Bill Brooks for the Colts. All right. Speed this up. These packs are not the easiest to open. And then the cards are going all sorts of ways, and they're sticky, and they're, you know. Makes for some amazing video watching, I'm sure. Alright, here we go. We have a Patriots Andre Tippett. We have Neil Smith for the Chiefs. Quinn Early for the Saints. Don Warble for the Redskins. I'm sorry, Don Warren. Brent Jones for the 49ers. Carlton Hersteg for the Steelers. Anthony Munoz for the Bengals. Jeff Hostetler for the Giants. Ron Hallstrom for the Packers. Marv Cook for the Patriots. Barry Sanders, Members' Choice. There's his first card. Jeff Onoshkak for the Dolphins. Roberto Del Pino for the Rams. Kevin Murphy for the Buccaneers. And Anthony Carter for the Vikings. You're sticky. Not yet. Not yet. I'm going to an escape room. That's when things will get sticky. Alright, we got Gary Anderson for the Buccaneers. Marty Carter for the Buccaneers. Ricky Reynolds for the Buccaneers. This is a Buccaneers pack, guys. Eugene Lockhart for the Patriots. Ernie Mills for the Steelers. Thought I already did that. David Little for the Steelers. Glenn Parker for the Bills. Mitchell Price for the Bengals. Larry Roberts for the 49ers. Dexter McNabb, I have to assume he's a rookie. 1992. This is rookie. He's wearing his Gator outfit. We're going to put that over there because he's a Gator. Rick Bryan is a Falcon. Jim Sweeney is a Jet. Gerald Williams is a Steeler. Derek Walker is a Charger. And Clarence Verdon is a Colt. And I was really looking forward to these cards. But the more I look and see, that there aren't really rookies or anything, it does take away some of. There might be rookies, but I didn't look to see who the rookies were, and he doesn't have any rookies on his sheet. And not having rookies does take away the enjoyment factor of opening a box. Because as nice as it is to find a Barry Sanders Members' Choice, and I would like to find another one, it's the rookie cards that really get you excited. All right, we have Leroy Butler for the Packers, Al Smith for the Oilers. We have the Patriots' Gene Chilton, Mark Spindler for the Lions, Mark Kelso for the Bills. We got Renya Thompson for the Giants. Members Choice, Mark Rippon. There you go. That's the card everyone wants. Members Choice, Mark Rippon. Bern Brostek for the Rams. Tommy Vartel for the Browns. Guy McIntyre for the 49ers. Tom Thayer for the Bears. Scott Reddick for the Colts. Randall McDaniel for the Vikings. Maurice Hurst for the Patriots. And Bill Lewis for the Cardinals. All right, here we go. All right, first card is an Anthony Smith of the Raiders. We got a Bubby Brister of the Steelers, Keith Traylor of the Broncos, George Thomas of the Falcons, and Sean Jones of the Oilers. Then we have Michael Irvin of the Cowboys. We have Ray Seals of the Buccaneers, Ricardo McDonald of the Bengals, David Brandon of the Browns, Tony Covington of the Buccaneers, Keith Sims of the Dolphins, William Roberts of the Giants, Gary Clark of the Redskins, Tommy Barnhart of the Saints, and Cowboys John Gesek. All right. This has not been going the greatest, but at the same time, we're still very early, guys. We're almost a quarter of the way through. Not even a quarter of the way through yet. Plenty of times to find whatever it is we might be looking for. We've got Steve Sewell of the Broncos, Scott Davis of the Raiders, Paul McJullin of the Packers, Dennis Gibson of the Lions, Will Wolford of the Bills, Michael Ball of the Colts, Tim Brown of the Raiders. We've got a checklist. Woot to the checklist. Packers, Bryce Paup. 49ers, Tom Rathman. Mark Dennis for the Dolphins. Richard Brown for the Browns. Terry Allen for the Vikings. Kelvin Pritchett for the Lions. And Beanie Blades for the Lions. For the Lions. So we're going to first deal with the stick. And then we're going to split to there, but this time we're going to do that. And then, there we go. Now we don't have to switch in the middle. Now, if only I could figure out how to get them all facing the same way. Lewis Lips for the Steelers. Mike Golick for the Eagles. Scott Stevens for the Packers. Bubba McDowell for the Oilers. Haywood Jeffries for the Oilers. Sterling Sharp. Keith Hamlin for their Giants. That must be a rookie because he's in his college outfit. Christian Okoye for the Chiefs. Henry Rawlings for the Chargers. Dexter Carter for the 49ers. Tony Bennett for the Packers. Bill Brooks for the Colts. Carl Wilson for the Rams. James Hasty for the Jets, and Vaughn Johnson for the Saints. Problem with football over baseball for me is I was much more of a baseball guy growing up. So as a baseball guy, I was chasing things back in these days. Now I got into football eventually, but mostly I was buying stuff backwards or not at this time. So there's less, oh, I remember this card, I remember chasing this card, because I wasn't pulling any of these cards. I never opened a 1993 football. If I did, that might be more nostalgia card keeps for me. But all right, first the stick. So we got first we have Carnell Lake for the Steelers. And then we have Steve Tasker for the Bills. Steve Broussard for the Falcons. Mel Gray for the Lions. Jamie Dukes for the Falcons. Eric Pegram for the Falcons. Very Falcon heavy pack. We got Brian Mitchell for the Redskins. We got Eric Green for the Steelers. Tony Jones for the Browns. Lonnie Young for the Jets. Dennis Smith for the Broncos. Larry Brown for the Cowboys. Reggie Roby for the Dolphins. Greg Lloyd for the Steelers. And Randall McDaniel for the Vikings. A couple in there that I would consider even better than mid-card talent, but just not someone I ever fell in love with. I got much more into football at a later date than baseball. And I really got to know my players. I got to know my baseball players because of sports cards, baseball cards. I got to know my football players because of fantasy football. So a lot of these guys that I've heard of and I know about, Randall McDaniel, they're not fantasy football stars, so it took me years to figure them out, and they just don't have the same level of respect for me as a collector as other cards that are less players who are less superstar as them might. Brad Baxter, Jets. Ernest Givens, Oilers. Michael Young, Broncos. Jim Breach, Bengals. John Casey, Seahawks. Floyd Turner, Saints. Amp Lee, that is an Amp Lee rookie. I remember Amp Lee, and that's a rookie, so we're gonna keep that one. Max Montoya for the Raiders. Mike Kofer for the 49ers. We got a Members' Choice Neil Anderson for the Bears. We got a Vikings Audrey McMillan. A Chiefs Todd McNair. Jim Wilkes for the Saints. Jim Waller for the Cardinals. And Steve Berline for the Cowboys. All right. See, there's another Reggie Roby card here. If I was going to collect a punter, Reggie Roby might be the one. But the only punter I will be collecting is Pat McAfee. So I just love that guy. All right. We got the Chiefs, Tracy Simeon, Eric Allen for the Eagles, Chris Porte for the Saints, Vinny Testaverde for the Buccaneers, Mike Horan for the Broncos, Cornelius Bennett for the Bills, Dan Owens for the Lions, the Chargers, Carlos Huerta as a rookie, punter, Ernest Biner for the Redskins, Doug Smith for the Oilers, Jim Waller for the Cardinals, Steve Berline for the Cowboys, Dennis Smith for the Broncos, Larry Brown for the Cowboys, and Reggie Roby for the Dolphins. All right, we got Chris Carter of the Vikings. We got Gary Zimmerman of the Vikings. Dave Lutz of the Chiefs. Todd Maranovich of the Raiders. The rookie last year. That's one I remember. 1991 Upper Deck. Todd Maranovich. That was one of the ones we chased. Maury Buford of the Bears. Edgar Bennett, that's another one for the Packers. Put that over there. Don Mosbar of the Raiders. Mike Mooney of the Oilers. Chris Chandler of the Cardinals. Henry Thomas of the Vikings. Darrell Lewis of the Oilers. Jeff Davidson of the Broncos. Jeff Wright of the Bills. Craig Patterson of the Cardinals, and Lee Johnson of the Bengals. Right. Got. Starting off with Greg Davis of the Cardinals. Yep. Mark Jackson of the Broncos. James Joseph of the Eagles. Jackie Slater of the Rams. Barney Boosie of the Bengals, Charles Haley of the 49ers, Members Choice Emmitt Smith, there's another one, there's his second one. Got a checklist. Jesse Hester of the Colts, Mark Tuinei for the Cowboys, John Fries from the Chargers, William Perry from the Bears, Robert Brown from the Packers, Jeff Cross from the Dolphins, and Frank Warren from the Saints. There's a former Buck. this way. Turn it over. All right. We got Rufus Porter for the Seahawks. We have James Jones for the Browns. Don Beebe for the Bills. Kevin Butler for the Bears. Fraud Reves for the Vikings. Sean Jefferson for the Chargers. Alvin Harper for the Cowboys. That's year 2. Terrell Buckley for the Packers. Vincent Smith for the Cowboys. Brian Jordan for the Falcons. Ray Crockett for the Lions. Jason Pearson for the Chiefs. Tom Newberry for the Rams. Ron Heller for the Eagles. And Paul Gruber for the Buccaneers. All right, 3-2 halfway point. Steve Bono for the 49ers. Rich Moran for the Packers. Seahawks Darren Comex. John Taylor for the 49ers. This is one of the... No, it was the other set he was collecting, John Taylor. Almost. Chris Hinston for the Falcons. Keith Henderson for the Niners. Chris Dolman for the Vikings. Members' Choice Mike Crowell for the Broncos. Football Checklist. Chargers Burt Grossman. Tua Tagovailoa. It's close. There's no via. Tua Tagovailoa for the Bengals. Kevin Call for the Colts. Eric Hill for the Cardinals. Freddie Joe Nunn for the Cardinals. And Wilbur Marshall for the Redskins. All right. First, we have Tracy Seaman for the Chiefs, Eric Allen for the Eagles, Chris Port for the Saints, Vinny Testaverde for the Buccaneers, Mike Horan for the Broncos, Cornelius Bennett for the Bills, Dan Owens for the Lions, Carlos Huerta for the Chargers, Ernest Biner for the Redskins, Doug Smith for the Oilers, Gary Clark for the Redskins, Tommy Barnard for the Saints, John Gesek for the Cowboys, Tom Thayer for the Bears, and Scott Reddick for the Colts. Starting to run into a lot of dupes, not trips at this point. Got to get some of those cards we're looking for. 2 out of 19 is a bad percentage. Looking for 10 or more. We're halfway done and we're not even close to the half of 10. Need 3 in this pack to be on track. doubt that's happening. All right. We got Rob Moore of the Jets, Scott Case of the Falcons, Tony Woods of the Seahawks, Hardy Nickerson of the Steelers, Jeff Bryant of the Seahawks, Carlos Huerta of the Chargers, Ernest Barner of the Redskins, Doug Smith of the Oilers, Keith Henderson of the Niners, Chris Dolman of the Vikings, William Fuller of the Oilers, Lemuel Stinson of the Bears, Chris Good of the Colts, George Thornton of the Chargers, and Greg Jackson of the Giants. Alright, halfway done. We got to end with at least more than 4. 4 would be just doubling what we did in the first half. We got to have 5 or 6. Alright, we got Steve Bono again, Rich Moran again, Darren Cox again, John Taylor again, Chris Hinton again, Keith Henderson again, Chris Dolman again, Mike Crowell Members Choice again, Football Checklist, Burt Grossman again, Greg Lloyd, that might be a first, I don't know, Steelers, Randall McDaniel again, Maurice Hurst again. I'm going to say that it wasn't the first time since there hasn't been a single. Bill Lewis, I think, is again. Rick Bryan, I don't know. But for the most part, those were all dupes. Come on, Pax. Quit playing games with my heart. Give me something. More importantly, give Sugar White something. I know I'm happy. I just want to keep him happy. All right, we got Bob Whitfield for the Falcons, Myron Guyton for the Giants, Flipper Anderson for the Rams, Mark Carrier for the Bears, John Stevens for the Patriots, Lomas Brown for the Lions, Mark Clayton for the Dolphins, Joe Bowden for the Oilers, Derek Thomas Members Choice, Rob Burnett for the Browns, Pharrell Edmonds for the Dolphins, Cleveland Gary for the Rams, Audrey McMillan for the Vikings, Todd McNair for the Chiefs, Jim Wilkes for the Saints. Looks like we're about to have a storm. I don't know if you guys can hear that storming, but that's what happens when you live in Florida. Storms aren't bad though. I like to deal with storms unless they kick out the power and then you can't stream. Leroy Butler for the Packers, Al Smith for the Oilers, Gene Chilton for the Patriots, Mark Spindler for the Lions, Mark Kelso for the Bills, Renya Thompson for the Giants. Mark Rypien, Members' Choice. That's one to keep and one to give to Voila. Bern Brostick for the Rams. Tommy Vardell for the Browns. The running back, rookie running back. Never heard of him. Guy McIntyre for the 49ers. Tom Thayer for the Bears. Scott Radek, Nate Tuatagloa for the Bengals. Kevin Call for the Colts. And Eric Hill for the Cardinals. Yeah, it has been a little while since we've pulled anything. We have a Steelers Barry Foster, Rodney Pete for the Lions, Brent Williams for the Patriots, Rick Tootin for the Seahawks, Scott Norwood for the Bills, Joe Phillips for the Chargers, Rod Bernstein for the Chargers, Steve Young for the 49ers, Fred Barnett for the Eagles, Cortez Kennedy for the Seahawks, Craig Patterson for the Cardinals, Lee Johnson for the Bengals, Dave Schatz for the Chiefs, Scott Galbraith for the Browns, and Mark Higgs for the Dolphins. We got a Steve Young. I already had a Steve Young for me, and he's not looking for Steve Young, but still, that's at least a respectable player, Hall of Famer. And there were a couple in that pack that we hadn't gotten before, as far as I could tell. So that's a step in the right direction as well. We have Rob Moore for the Jets, Scott Case for the Falcons, Tony Woods for the Seahawks, Hardy Nickerson for the Steelers, Jeff Bryant for the Seahawks, Pat Swilling for the Saints, Gerard Bunch for the Giants, Broderick Thomas for the Buccaneers, Leonard Marshall for the Giants, Members' Choice Rodney Hampton, Jeff Cross for the Dolphins, Frank Warren for the Saints, Darrell Lewis for the Oilers, Jeff Davidson for the Broncos, and Jeff Wright for the Bills. Don't take my yawning as to mean I'm bored, just that these cards are boring when there's nothing special. There's a difference. I'm having a blast, but these cards are putting me to sleep. All right, we have Carlton Hasterlig for the Seahawks, Anthony Munoz for the Bengals. I think I already did that, but just in case. Jeff Hostetler for the Giants, Raul Hostrom for the Packers, Marv Cook for the Patriots. Members' Choice Barry Sanders. Well, that one's mine. Woot woot. But honestly, I feel like we need to get Sugar White some of his cards. Jeff Undulate for the Dolphins, Robert Del Pino for the Rams, Kevin Murphy for the Bucks, Anthony Carter for the Vikings, Ron Heller for the Eagles, Paul Gruber for the Bucks, John Freese for the Chargers, William Perry for the Bears, and Robert Brown for the Packers. I will notice that what he's given me, he has number 38, and then he has like 6 cards from 38 to 388. And then the next card he's given me is 602, and he has a bunch from 602 to 695. And I'm not sure, maybe I'll look while I'm doing this the rest of the way, but this says Series 2. I'm wondering, although Series 2 I would think would be the higher numbers, I'm wondering if this is all, and he only really has 6 cards on his list. If 602 to whatever is Series 3 or Stadium Club high numbers or something like that. I'll have to look into that. Oh no, 524, 400, 370, 472, 520. I'm wondering if it starts around 300 and that 338, 110, and 190 don't have a chance to get in here. And maybe it ends about 500 and 602. That's probably what it is. There are probably only 3 cards that he has listed. Gary Anderson for the Bucks, Marty Carter for the Bucks, Ricky Reynolds for the Bucks, another Bucks pack, Eugene Lockhart for the Patriots, Ernie Mills for the Steelers. I forgot to do my switch. David Little for the Steelers, Glenn Parker for the Bills, Mitchell Price for the Bengals, Larry Roberts for the 49ers, Dexter McNabb for the Packers. I think I've got him, but I'm going to put him there anyway. Freddie Joe Nunn, then Wilbur Marshall, then Ray Crockett for the Lions, then Jason Pearson for the Chiefs, then Tom Newberry for the Bears. Yeah, if there's only 300 cards in this set and it goes from 300 to 599 or whatever, and Series 1 was 1 to 300, and then Series 2 was 300 to 600, and then Series 3 was 600 to 800, 900 or whatever, then yeah, there's only 3 cards in that range. See if I find anything under 300 or anything over 600. I'm willing to bet I won't. And I bet if I find another checklist that there'll be either 1, 2, 3 or 597, 598, 599, something like that. At which point I don't feel so bad because he didn't actually give me the product to get him anything but 3 cards, and I got him 2 of them. Alright, we got Anthony Smith for the Raiders, Bobby Brister for the Steelers, Broncos Keith Traylor, George Thomas for the Falcons, Sean Jones for the Oilers, Michael Irvin, 447, Ray Seals for the Bucks, Ricardo McDonald for the Bengals, David Brandon for the Browns, Tony Covington for the Buccaneers, Keith Sims for the Dolphins, William Roberts for the Giants, Gary Clark for the Redskins, Tommy Barnhart for the Saints, and John Gesek for the Cowboys. Alright guys, that's it. We got one more stack. We're in the final quarter of cards right there. Yeah, I'm starting to believe the 597 there. Starting to believe what I've discovered is true. There are 300 cards per set. He looked at the Stadium Club, didn't look at what was in Stadium Club Series 3 specifically. That, or he knew what was in Stadium Club Series 2. So I said 3, but 2. And he sent me the list of all Stadium Clubs because he plans on buying Series 1 and or Series 3 at a later date. Most of his cards that he wants are in Series 3. I'm assuming it's called Series 3. It could be called something like Updated or High Numbers or something like that. But Dave Fletcher for the Bengals, Chris Mims for the Bucks, Member Choice Reggie White, Alvin Wright for the Rams, Harold Green for the Bengals, Keith Byers for the Eagles, Tim McDonald for the Cardinals, Winston Moss for the Raiders, Ricky Ellison for the Raiders, Chip Banks for the Colts, Don Warren for the Redskins, Brent Jones for the Niners, Alfred Williams for the Bengals, Tyrone Braxton for the Broncos, and Lorenzo Lynch for the Cardinals. If I had known that's what this was and how little we'd be getting out of it, I probably would have opened this as a Instagram. For those of you who don't know, I do Instagram openings too, but I open 1 pack a day. Right now I'm doing 1990 Score Baseball and 1991 Pacific Plus football. Just depends on what day it is. So go and join our Instagram. You can find that below, whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. We've got the information in the description down below. Join the beacon, click the beacon, and join all of our social media. If you go to the Facebook group and Discord, you will find discounted prices and early purchases for our box breaks, so that you don't even have to fight someone on eBay for the team you want. All right, we got James Lofton for the Bills, Chris Warren for the Seahawks, William White for the Lions, Dwayne Harper for the Seahawks, Craig Hayward for the Saints, Tony Tolbert for the Cowboys, Craig Taylor for the Bengals, Jamie Williams for the 49ers, Courtney Hall for the Chargers, Ciaran Stacy for the Eagles, Derek Walker for the Chargers, Clarence Vernon for the Colts, Andre Tippett for the Patriots, Neil Smith for the Chiefs, and Quinn Early for the Saints. There were quite a few in there that I don't remember seeing, so we might have gotten some new ones in that. But yeah, I'm still looking and still numbers. I am convinced the numbers on this are only 300 through 599 or 301 through 600, something like that. At which point, he only gave me 3 cards, and we found 2 of them. So I feel pretty good. And they're the 2 best ones. The only other one is an Edgar Bennett rookie card, which would be nice, but Bruce Armstrong for the Patriots, Michael Walter for the 49ers, Stephon Page for the Chiefs, Rod Woodson, member choice, Jesse Sapulo for the 49ers, forgot to do this part, Brett Perriman for the Lions, Gaston Green for the Broncos, Chris Harkle for the Bengals, Bill Fralick for the Falcons, Morton Anderson for the Saints, Joe Jacoby for the Redskins, Jeff Criswell for the Jets, 49ers Pierce Holt, and Cardinals Ernie Jones, Steelers Gerald Williams. Approaching the home stretch. Looking for an Edgar Bennett. Pretty sure I haven't gotten one, but I might have gotten one and not realized it. That's one that wouldn't have jumped out to me. So. Well, we'll do it the old way. Carnell Lake for the Steelers, Steve Tasker for the Bills, Steve Bouchard for the Falcons, Mel Gray for the Lions, Jamie Dukes for the Falcons, Eric Pegram for the Falcons, Brian Mitchell for the Redskins, Eric Green for the Steelers, Tony Jones for the Browns, Lonnie Young for the Jets, Chris Good for the Colts, George Thornton for the Chargers, Greg Jackson for the Giants, Jay Novacek for the Cowboys, and Greg Townsend for the Raiders. 1989. Jay Novacek's rookie is 1989. He was part of that Cowboys team. All right. Come on, Edgar Bennett. All right, we got Brad Baxter of the Jets, Ernest Givens of the Oilers, Michael Young of the Broncos, Jim Breach of the Bengals, John Casey of the Seahawks, Floyd Turner of the Saints, Amp Lee of the 49ers, Max Montoya of the Raiders, Mike Coffer of the 49ers, Neil Anderson of the Members' Choice of the Bears, Brian Noble of the Packers, Dan Fike of the Browns, Warren Powers of the Broncos, William Fuller of the Oilers, and Lemuel Stinson of the Bears. All right. We're now officially in the home stretch. Last 3 packs. Sometimes I say it's 3. Sometimes I say it's as much as 5. Oh, there it is, right on top. Edgar Bennett, and we did find that one already. I put it in my stuff, so he would have had it anyway. I will check between this one and that one if either is one of them is in a better condition. The great thing about Stadium Club is that for the most part, the cutting is on. They got much more high tech at this point. The cuts are almost always on. Don Mosbar is a Raider. Mike Mooney is an Oiler. Chris Chandler is a Cardinal. Henry Thomas is a Viking. We got Chris Carter is a Viking. Gary Zimmerman is a Viking. Lots of Vikings. David Lutz is a Chief. Todd Maranovich is a Raider. Murray Buford is a Bear. Tony Zendages is a Ram. Dave Treadwell is a Bronco. Mike Saxon is a Cowboy. Ray Agnew is a Patriot. And Kirby Jackson is a Bill. Alright, so we got him his 3 cards. That makes me happy. So now let's just pull an Emmitt Smith Member's Choice, as that's the only card we haven't doubled that I think that I would have some interest in. Well, I know I have interest in. I don't know if there's anything else. We don't have to double anything else, so if we got a single of anything, I would already have it. So, a Member's Choice Emmitt Smith would be nice. Can't even really root. Usually when I say that, I say something for him too, but there's really nothing else for him to get. I mean, I guess another Barry Sanders would give him a second. Another Edgar Bennett would give him another one of those. Greg Davis for the Cardinals. Mark Jackson for the Broncos. James Joseph for the Eagles. Jackie Stater for the Rams. Barney Bussey for the Bengals. Charles Hasley for the 49ers. There it is, Members' Choice. Emmitt Smith. So we got 2 of each. He gets 1 and I get 1 of each. And as I predicted, the checklist is $5.99 and it fits 100 cards on it. So $401 to $5.99. The other checklist is going to be $5.98 and it's going to have 300. Yep, I figured it out. All right. Colts, Jesse Hester. Mark Tuanay is a Cowboy. Ken Clark is a Viking. Patrick Hunter is a Seahawk. Kevin Ross is a Chief. Adrian Cooper is a Steeler. And Ray Childress is an Oiler. Right, we still got 1 more pack. And at this point, I'm not even sure what we would hunt. I guess what we want is I would like something that we don't have that I collect, but I don't know how much more there is. He would probably want another Edgar Bennett rookie or a Barry Sanders. I guess he'll take him. There's only 3 cards, so he'll take an Emmitt Smith. Maybe he'll look at this and go, oh, you know what, I wanted those Charles Haley's, or I'll take one of those Steve Youngs, which we already have 2 of, something like that, maybe. I don't know what makes him pick his cards. Alright, Rufus Porter for the Seahawks, James Jones for the Browns, Don Beebe for the Bills, Kevin Butler for the Bears, Fod Ravizevs for the Vikings. Assumed he was a kicker. I was correct. Sean Jefferson for the Chargers. Alvin Harper for the Cowboys. I didn't put the first one over there, but I'm going to put that one over there. Maybe he wants a Terrell Buckley rookie. Pretty sure I already put it over there, but I'll do it again. Vincent Smith for the Cowboys. Falcons Brian Jordan. Jim Sweeney for the Jets. Grant Fiesel for the Seahawks. Jim Jensen for the Dolphins. Scott Miller for the Dolphins. And Robert Young for the Rams. Alright guys, not much to recap in this. We got ourselves an Edgar Bennett rookie. We got ourselves a Members' Choice Emmitt Smith. And we got ourselves a Members' Choice Barry Sanders. I got some other stuff to the side, but mostly not even worth noting. On top of it, we got 2 of each of those, so that's good. We both feel like we made out on that deal. Guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us as we did our What's in the Box Wednesday this week. Join us next week. We're going to do Wednesday. We'll be back to baseball, and we'll be doing the 1990 edition of Upper Deck. 1990 Upper Deck Baseball. That's what we'll be doing next week. So join us here live on Twitch if you can figure out when we're streaming it, and if not, it'll be on Wednesday, theoretically next Wednesday when you're watching this for What's in the Box Wednesday. Go ahead and click the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this. Please leave comments. Let me know what I can do differently. I say every week, not every week, but guys, I like going through each individual card like that. I know it takes about an hour to do a box that way. I enjoy it. That's why I'm doing it. So aside from that, if you have any other suggestions, let me know. I'm up for anything for the most part, anything that's legal. And we'll see what we can do to make this more exciting for you if you're just getting with us. Take care, guys. We will see you live on stream in a few days for our break. Go check out eBay.